Hey guys, so got this computer tower we're gonna tear apart. I got a few others. Got a bunch of scrap. Don't mind the mess in the garage. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I got all these we're gonna tear apart. So hopefully you guys will enjoy these. I'm gonna strip them apart for scrap, and I'll show you what's all in them. Now, I've never taken apart a Dell before, so I'm sure it's going to be the same as all the other ones. But we'll check it out. We'll see what's in it. Hey, look at that. That's amazing. Wish I would have figured that out the first time. Set that right there for now. All right. Looks like all the slot cards have already been, all the RAM sticks have already been taken out. That's a bummer. See if we can't get this this heat sink and stuff out. Oh, it came right off with the CPU. Look at that. That's a new one. I ain't ever seen that set up before. A nice CPU. Got lots of good gold on it. Good chunk of aluminum. Put that with my other CPUs. Looks like this thing's been apart a couple times before. Someone's taken a bunch of stuff out of it. Most of the screws are already out. There's always that one. Always. Alright, guess we're gonna have to get a socket for on it. There we go. There's a good motherboard. Just wish it had some more stuff to it. So I'll stick that over here. The rest of that. A big fan in there. I want to get that out. There we go. Alright, so that's plastic, that's junk. See if this has gold in the ends. It might, but we'll snip that for the copper wire. That would go with all the other electric motors that I have. Put this up with the rest of the wire. Now, see if we can't get the rest of this stuff out. There we go. There's good stuff in there. Ah, gold pins. Awesome. We always love those. We'll put this with the rest of the stuff. Ribbon will stick up here. I missed. All right. Last thing to get out is this drive. Cover up front, push down, You gotta love when they come out nice like that. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and tear that apart. One less thing I gotta do later. Scrap. Yeah, that's a pretty nice chip right there. Gold wires from the end. Those ones are silver. All right, so this probably has gold in the ends there, so we'll see if we can take this out real quick. Maybe not. Sometimes these screws are really small. You gotta get special tools to take them out. Goes with the electric motors. All right. Nope, not small enough. So, you can always resort to breaking stuff. It's always fun too. Alright, so what I was trying to get to is this. There's gold pins in there. That's the main thing I was going for. There's a little bit of copper in here, but I won't mess with those. It's a little too much of a pain to get to. There's an electric motor in there. Maybe we can take that out real quick instead of sending it to regular scrap. Electric motor price is a little bit better than regular just shredder. Not by a lot, but it is a little bit. And these little motors add up after a while. So there's a good little one. Alright, I can go to scrap. Put this in, that one. Alright, so then that is an empty case. Try to get all the screws out. Set that over here. Good enough. All right, let's grab another one. Might as well grab the other dowel since it's on top. All right, this plastic. Now that I know how to open them, makes it a little easier. Now this one looks like it's complete other than someone took the ram sticks out again. Darn. But we got a power unit in this one, so that's nice. So we get these torn apart. So I hope at some point, once I get enough of this stuff kind of torn apart and gathered up, I'll be able to show you guys how to recover the gold out of all this stuff that I've been collecting. Now, whether or not that'll be next year, 2 years from now, when I retire, maybe, I don't know. It's just one of those things that it depends on what I come across. I just happen to get lucky and find all these computers to tear apart. They're not something I normally come across. It just happens to find them on Facebook Marketplace for the right price. What's the right price, you might ask? It's whatever you're really willing to pay for them. the little bit of research that I've done into it tells me that there's on average $10 worth of gold in a computer. So obviously you wouldn't want to pay a whole lot more than that for them. Junkyards, I think, buy this unit as a certain price. They call them PC towers, and they only pay like 13-14 cents a pound, which doesn't sound like much, but some of these things can get pretty heavy depending on what's in them. So I think these ones I paid like $5 a piece for, which to me is a acceptable price. Some people may say that's too expensive, and you know, that's all opinion, but I don't necessarily do this just for the gold recovery. This isn't my full-time thing. This is something I do for fun. I'm hoping to get my boy into it a little bit more. He enjoys coming out to the garage. Just, he's still at that age. He likes to just bash stuff apart. Which, some things he takes apart for me is totally fine if he just wants to break them. Doesn't bother me at all. But then there's other things that I want taken apart the correct way, so that way later when I go to clean them up, it's not as difficult to clean up. Particularly circuit boards, stuff like that. Some stuff he tears apart is some TVs he tears apart for me. He likes to just try to break the glass, and I'm not all about picking up a bunch of glass later down the road, especially for the fact that he could get hurt very easily. There's that. We'll set that off to the side. So I try to teach him how to tear them apart without using a hammer, but well, we all know little kids like to just break stuff. So there's only so much you can do, and I know as I speak about breaking stuff there, I broke that. But it's okay, because where it's going, it's not gonna matter. Because that's just going right in the scrapyard. I'd like to find a shredder someday that I could take all this plastic and run it through a shredder, and then maybe take it to a recycling plant or something like that, or at least it wouldn't take up as much space in my trash can. Would be nice. There we go. All right, there's another ribbon, scrap, and circuit board. And that looks like everything. We'll dump most of the screws out. Stack it back on the pile. And we will go and grab another one. Let's see. There we go. Sometimes it gets stuck. All right, this one looks like it is complete. Ram sticks, good heat sink. It's got, I guess you would actually call that almost a radiator because it's got copper and aluminum. So that's a pretty good one. No slot cards. Looks like there was one here at one time, but it's not there any longer. So we'll get all these wires out of the way. And you do want to watch when you're taking some of this stuff apart. Like that's got gold wire, gold pins in it. That's why when I take my stuff apart, pull everything out of it, put it all in a pile, and I will go through it later so I can separate it to whether it's pure copper wire, whether it's a tin coated copper, because I keep them separate. Your tin coated copper wire, I will take that to the scrapyard as insulated wire. The copper, pure copper wire, insulated wire, I will put that in my family's granulator, and I will chop it up and keep it as copper to melt down into ingots, just because I enjoy having ingots. Not everyone does that. Is it always worth it? No, it's not, because scrapyards won't always take them. But I would like to start selling mine on eBay, or even I just enjoy stacking them. Well, it's not long enough. Okay. But yeah, I just enjoy stacking copper bars or aluminum bars or any bars. So that's a nice chunk of copper. So this will be something I'll take apart later. These fins are just soldered onto this. So if you were really wanted to separate the copper and aluminum, you could just take a torch, heat all this up, and these would slide right off because they're just soldered on there. So it's got an electric fan in, so I'll tear that apart later. Alright, let's get this motherboard out of here. Looks like it's all Torx. And if you're going to get into doing this, I do recommend you getting a small drill. I use this impact driver, Milwaukee, with a bigger battery on it, just because when you get tight screws, it will sit there and hammer on them, and it will usually break them loose. It really doesn't matter what you use. If you like DeWalt, you like Ryobi, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. But it makes it a whole lot easier than using a screwdriver, because you will be there for a long time. Good CPU. I have a bunch of other circuit boards that have the CPU still on them that I'm going to start separating them, because I wasn't separating them before, but I think I am going to start doing that just because they're more gold content than everything else. You can also keep these. If you take all these out and your CPUs, you take them out and say you don't want to do gold recovery per se, you can sell these on eBay. You can take them to this junkyard as a separate scrap price just for ram sticks, because they apparently have a lot of gold in them. There's more heat sinks on here that I'll take off later. But you can take all that stuff off, and there's lots of different choices what you do with it. Whether you want to take it to scrapyard, which is what most people do, or you can keep it. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, I just do this for a hobby. Something I enjoy. Gets me out of the house. It's different than work. Going to work every day where I have to put stuff together. So I like to take stuff apart. And I will take random stuff apart. If you guys are watching the video and think of something you might like to see taken apart, because you don't know what's in it, or maybe you do know what's in it and just want me to tear it apart, put it down in the comments. I'll see if I can find it, see if I can take it apart, show you guys what's all in them, and who knows, maybe it's something I might try to find more of, because they might be valuable to me because of what's inside of them. I don't do a whole lot with aluminum stuff. I will keep like these heat sinks. Once I take the metal out of them, I will keep those because they're extruded aluminum. They're worth the most. But any other aluminum I get, like this, that's not extruded. That's just stamped aluminum. I guess they would call it sheet aluminum. It's really not worth much. I will take that and maybe some other sheet aluminum that I might have gathered up, and I will end up taking it to my brother's. And he does scrap too, but he does it on a little different scale than what I do. He's more into the car side of it. So what I would do is I would take that, there's a good hard drive. I would take that and take it to him, and he would, oh, it's a floppy disk. Don't see too many of them anymore. He would take it and he'll put it in with the rest of his stuff, and then I'll trade him that for, say, some copper wire, or maybe he's got some electric motors that he doesn't want to deal with, or some AC compressors out of different things, and I'll trade him for this stuff, so that way he gets out of it what he wants and I get out of it more stuff that I want, just because it works easy that way, instead of me doing like with this, where I went out and I found these. If I were to go through him and just keep getting my stuff, which is what I did a lot of, just makes it easy. He's literally just right up the road for me, so it saves me a lot of time. Okay. As you can see, yeah, my garage is kind of a mess. Got a lot of things going on, whether it be house renovations, this suspension system. I got to ship to Massachusetts. Just waiting on the shipping stuff to come through. That way I can get it out of my garage. All right. That looks like exactly the same thing. A little dirt from being in the back of the truck. I'd love to find a place that I could get a bunch of computers all the time. Kind of like a steady supply type thing. But a lot of people still want $20, $30 for an old computer, whether it works or not. And to me, that is not worth it. For me to do all this tearing stuff apart, it's just not, I just don't find it worth it, that kind of money. Is it technically, once you separate everything out, could it technically be worth that kind of money? Yeah, it's very possible, but I don't feel it is. But that is my opinion. Everyone has their own. There we go, that's unplugged. I hate when they put these zip ties on. I mean, it's good, it keeps things out of the way of the wires getting damaged, but makes it a pain in the butt tearing them apart. All right. One more. Okay, there's another one. Another one with the fan in it. CPU. And you can see these start to stack up after a while, which is what I was hoping for, because I like my CPUs. Well, if I can get on the screw. You do gotta watch inside these things. Some of these edges can get sharp. So if you're ever tearing these apart, sometimes you gotta be careful, especially these back of these circuit boards. Some of these things, these prongs, can get pretty sharp. You don't wanna tear your finger up. That's just a bin of stuff that I have gathered up that I gotta tear apart. Same with all this stuff. Hard drives. These hard drives, if you plug them in to something else, I've heard of guys taking them and wiping them clean, depending on the size of the hard drive. I guess it's 80 gigabytes. But some of these hard drives can be worth something if you wipe them, delete everything on them, and you can resell these to somebody on eBay or whoever. People are looking for those. I don't do that. I'm not that I'm not that computer savvy, unfortunately. Another good. My workbench might get too full before I get through all these. It's a speaker. Alright, just pop this. Another floppy drive. Hey, look at that catch. Get this fan off of here yet. I could leave this fan on here. It'd just add to the scrap metal price of it. But again, like I said, it's worth more to go for electric motors than what it is to send it for just regular scrap. Try to get all these screws out. That's why whenever I throw these cases in my scrap metal trailer, I don't have screws all over the place. I'll do another Dell. How about that? All right, I see it's got another lock on the top of it. Now I know how to tear them apart. Oops, pulled that one apart. There we go. That's how they're supposed to come apart. The CPU should not come out with the heatsink like those other ones did. I'm assuming someone probably tore it apart incorrectly. That's why they came apart like that. But it's a good chunk of aluminum. Go ahead and pull that out. This looks like someone took all the ram sticks out of this one too. Get that. Get these out of the way. Plastic, and there we go. Metal circuit board. And as you can see, while I'm talking about circuit boards, I have a trash can full of circuit boards. Now these aren't computer boards. This is actually stuff out of a TV. All these aluminum heat sinks, copper coils. I think that's pretty much it. There's some aluminum or silver in these relays that will tear all this stuff apart at some point. So keep watching. I hope to have more videos of that at some point pop out. All right, get back in here. Screw. So I always miss one or two, and then I have to go in and search to find them. Oh, hey, look at that. It's a painted one, or maybe it's anodized. It's kind of cool looking. I like that. So if you're wondering what all I'm gonna take off these, whenever I strip these down or depopulate these, I'll take all these ones with the gold pins, all these chips I'll take off. Obviously there's a chip underneath this. All these gold pins, these copper coils, all the gold pins out of here and here. I'll have to look and see if there's gold pins in there. There might be. All these have gold pins. So I'll take all this stuff off and I'll be left with a fairly bare motherboard. I won't take all these off like this and all these little I'm not sure if they call these tantalum capacitors or they're just small flat packs. I won't take everything off like these. These are technically aluminum. You could technically put these in with your dirty aluminum if you want to take time off to take them off. But I'll leave them on the board to make the board heavier. I think once you depopulate all the good stuff though, this then becomes a low grade board. So it's not worth as much, but I'm after the gold. Is it worth more for me to just take this in the way it is? Yes, but I want the gold. Maybe I have gold fever. I don't know. But something I've just been wanting to do. So I guess we'll get this out next. This power unit, or power supply, I guess they call it. I call them power units. So Button down here, push, and out it comes. There we go. Ribbon. Another ribbon. Slide this down. There we go. More floppies and CD drives. Okay. And I'll clean up a little bit here before we bring the next one over. Ah, there's my broom. And we'll sweep up the floor later. Maybe I'll have my boy come out and do it. He likes helping out here. He's not the greatest at it, but he enjoys it. That's all I care. As long as he has fun. And he's learning. That's a big thing if he's learning. Because I don't even know everything there is to know about this stuff. But I'll tell you what, you can learn a lot of stuff watching YouTube. Whether it be my stuff or if you're watching somebody else's videos, you can learn a lot of stuff. All right, finish tearing this apart. All right, ooh, ram sticks, yay. You know, I was watching some YouTube videos on, I think E-Waste Ben or Ben E-Waste or something like that. And I think that's what he does. Just all he does is he does E-Waste. He had 2 55-gallon barrels full of these. Was I jealous? Yes, definitely. I'd like to get, love to get to that point. But I think that's all he does for a living is scrap, e-waste, which that unfortunately to me won't pay my bills. Would I love it to? Sure. But I found this growing up that if you do something all day long for a job that you love to do as a hobby, you will begin to hate it. Maybe not everybody feels that way, but I do. I went to school for auto mechanics. Loved working on my race cars. Loved working on cars in general. Got to doing it every day. Didn't want to come home and work on a race car. It'd be Saturday night for a race, car wouldn't be ready. And I just had no motivation to go out and do it because I literally worked on cars all day long. So I got out of that, and now I work for a company building construction equipment. Not quite the same, a little bit different than working on cars every day, but I no longer hate coming home and working on my cars. I enjoy working on my cars. Made a big difference. So, just a suggestion for any young folks that are getting into things, if you want to do it as a job, more power to you. You know, go try to fulfill your dreams if that's what you want to do. But I found for me that I did not want to come home and do the exact same thing over again. Let's see. 40 gigabytes. So, but everyone's different. That was my preference. I didn't want to do it all day long. So anybody that follows my channel, they know that tearing stuff apart is probably not the only thing I'm going to have on here. Hope to show some car stuff, whether it be going to some car meets. I might do that. Showing you some of my friends' vehicles, my family's vehicles. My friends and family all have a little bit of different taste in everything. My family, I grew up on Mopars. It's just what we've always done. I like my old muscle cars. I appreciate all cars. Well, almost all cars. All well-built cars. If you have something that you put a lot of time and effort in, and it meets your personality and your likes, that's great. Just because I don't like it, doesn't mean you do. You don't. Because everyone's different. But I would never hate on somebody that enjoys their car and build it the way that they wanted it. Not saying I don't make fun of them from time to time, but you know, who doesn't like a good joke? It's all in good fun. My brother, he's into the old muscle cars, but he's also into Jeeps. A lot of my friends are into Jeeps. Not Wranglers. We're not Wrangler fans. You like Wranglers? That's fine. That's your thing. You give me an old Comanche or Cherokee any day. I can go out and beat the crap out of that thing and it will keep on going. And parts are still cheap. That's probably my favorite part about those vehicles. Parts are cheap. All right. Let's see, how many more we got? We got 2 more. Be able to get these out of the garage soon, which will be nice. There we go. Someone took the RAM sticks out of these again. Seems to be a popular thing on these computers, on these certain ones. That's something else you got to watch when you're buying computers, for whether it be for scrap or whatever. It's not hard to get into these things and take stuff apart. Technically, I guess if you think about it, with the RAM sticks missing, could I have lost money on these? Sure, probably did. But hey, it builds content. And I enjoy it. That's what matters. Snip. All right. Put this over here. Ooh, I think this is one of the good heat sinks that I like. So get this off. Metal. Electric fan. Yep. Got a copper center. I particularly like them just because, well, I can take a hammer and a punch and beat that out, and I'll be left with a nice chunk of copper. And then I'll also be left with a nice piece of clean aluminum. There's one of your biggest killers to these computers, guys. You don't keep this stuff clean, your computer will overheat and it will kill a computer very quickly. A lot of your new ones have safety things to keep them from overheating, like they'll shut down. But something you can do, you saw it wasn't that hard to take that off, take that fan off, and put it back together. Bam, you have a nice cooling computer. You don't have to worry about it overheating. Another CPU. There we go. Oh, didn't go in the trash can. Got a fan here. All right, cool. And those fan motors, they do go by weight. So if you can leave stuff on them, like I had that protective screen still left on it, leave that on there, makes it worth more. Now don't forget, every scrapyard is different. Some scrapyards will take different things. Like the one local to me, they will take, or at least they will take it from me, copper ingots that I melt down. A lot of scrapyards will not take them because they don't know what's inside of them. They don't know if you decided to melt the copper and stick a bunch of lead in there to make them heavier, so they won't risk taking them. But the scrapyard I take stuff to, he knows me pretty well. He trusts me. I'm not that type of person to purposely try to screw somebody over.